WWE thinks that they forgot about the Royal Rumble this weekend. I can assure
Because
you
they
they
did.
don't. They
They
did
did.
not.
They did. They
Okay,
absolutely.
Josh,
They absolutely did.
do
They're
you
like,
have evidence of that?
um, they only started like having people enter the Royal Rumble. What, last week? It's like, oh right, we have the Royal Rumble. Uh,
Okay, can I tell you that technically you don't have to have anybody declare for the Royal Rumble?
by the way, what was this nonsense on Monday Night Raw last night? You had guys declaring for the Royal Rumble. Finn Balor goes up to Adam Pearce and goes, "I want to declare for the Royal Rumble," and Adam Pearce says, "No."
Well,
What?
all 30 spots are filled. I mean, the Vision took the last 4 spots.
Yeah, because some higher power told Adam Pearce to put everybody in. Um, honestly, I don't give a crap about the Royal Rumble. I really don't. There's not one match on there where I'm like, oh my God, I have to watch that. Like AJ Styles versus Gunther. Okay, great. Gunther's been, the retirement guy. He retired Goldberg. He retired John Cena. As much as I love AJ Styles, like, it doesn't mean that much to me. We know Drew McIntyre is going to retain against Sami Zayn. There is no jeopardy there. And okay, Roman Reigns is in the Royal Rumble. Whoop-de-doo. Jey Uso's in the Royal Rumble. He shouldn't have won it last year, but whatever.
Hey, wait a minute. You picked him to win the Rumble, so how can you say he shouldn't have won it?
They only did it because he was the hot commodity at the time.
But you picked him, so you can't say, "Oh, we shouldn't have won it." But you said, "I think Jey Uso is going to win the Royal Rumble because he should go on to face Gunther." And now a year later, you said, "Oh, he shouldn't have won it." You can't do that.
It's called retrospect.
Okay, but there is something in sports called take integrity.
Okay, yes, at the time he was the hot commodity, and the
So at the
fans.
time, it was the right call.
No, okay, let me rephrase that. At the right time, at that time, it was the right decision. But looking back, it doesn't feel like the right decision
Okay, we
anymore.
can look back at everything. We can look back 10 years ago and say, you know what? Nick Foles probably shouldn't have won that Super Bowl against the Patriots. Guess what? He did.
But like, I I don't know. It just doesn't feel like WWE is like put all the time and effort into the Royal Rumble to make me care about it. Like,
Oh,
you know,
I disagree. I think they have came out this year in January, guns a blazing. Raw has been excellent television. SmackDown has been excellent television, and they are building so many branches. There are so many options of where you can go for most of the match. I agree with you. Drew McIntyre, 99% chance he's going to defeat Sami Zayn. There's a word out there, Sami Zayn beats Drew McIntyre. I do believe that because there's so many different options you can go with Sami Zayn. Does Sami Zayn, excuse me, does Sami Zayn enter in the Royal Rumble? Does he win it? Does he challenge Drew McIntyre again? Does he enter the Royal Rumble and get thrown out? Does he lose against Drew McIntyre and go crazy and turn heel? There's so many branching off options you can do. And you don't really need to tell a lot of story between Sammy and Drew because the story is already there because we already know what the story is. That Sami Zayn has not been able to defeat Drew McIntyre.
yes. It just feels like they threw this together, this match. Like, I I get
Well,
it.
in a way, they did because Drew McIntyre has only been champion for 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. Because he won it on that SmackDown in
On
that
January 9th in Berlin.
in Berlin. By the way, I did not watch Saturday night's main event. I was too busy watching UFC 324.
How
But
was that, by the way?
it was amazing. I cannot wait to watch UFC 325 this weekend. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 2 for the undisputed UFC featherweight championship. I will say I did not like that there were commercials during the walkouts and that there were commercials during the fighter in between the rounds when we the fans like to see what the coaches are saying to the fighters, because that's one of the great things about UFC is they show the walkouts, they show the corner meetings. So I did not like that aspect of it, but other than that, I thought it was great. But getting back to WWE stuff, I do like what they're doing with Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. That's one of my favorite things going right now. I think, and I don't mind that it's probably going to be a triple threat match. Not the direction I would go personally. I'm okay with it though. I would prefer it to just be straight up Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu. Let this match and feud get really personal and intense. Settle at WrestleMania with some type of stipulation.
By the way, there's a world they could do that, because there's a world you do the triple threat match in an Elimination Chamber and Drew wins. And what if Sammy wins the Rumble? And then you get Sammy and Drew at Mania, and you get Cody and Jacob, which I know is your dream. I also think Cody, Drew, and Jacob are going to do the triple threat match at Elimination Chamber. I don't think that it's the night one or night two main event of WrestleMania, because I don't even think Drew McIntyre is walking into WrestleMania as champion. I think the WrestleMania feud will be Drew and Jacob, and I think Cody's getting the belt back at Elimination Chamber and walking in as champion.
I hope not. That would be the absolute worst thing for WWE to do.
Well,
do not have Cody
because Cody is, I believe, Cody Rhodes is walking into WrestleMania as champion against Roman Reigns.
Oh God, no, we don't need to see that match for a third time. No.
Yes, we do, because it is the biggest match in the history of the business. You have the 1-star Roman Reigns, the 1-star Cody Rhodes. They're 1-1 against each other. It's the OTC 1 versus the QB 1. You don't even need to really build it. That is the match. If you want to make WrestleMania the biggest event possible, that's the biggest match you could put on at that show. The story is there because Roman Reigns never got a rematch for that title. And there is still beef with him and Cody Rhodes.
We've seen that match already. I don't want to see it again.
I could see them wrestle 30 times. I don't care.
I guess that's me being more of the actual wrestling fan than you.
Because it's about the story. I was having an argument with this person on the internet, and it wasn't an AEW or WB argument. It was a storytelling versus wrestling argument. I don't care if a wrestling match is dog shit. They could just throw fake punches all day. I don't care. I don't watch for the wrestling. I watch for the story.
See, I watch for both. If the story's good, then I'm still gonna be invested, even if the match is shit. But so
that's my point.
But like, if the match is good but the story is not, I'm still satisfied.
Oh no, I'm not satisfied at all, because I feel like I just wasted my time. Why should I watch two guys do flippy shit, bounce off the top rope when they have no reason for me to care about them?
Okay. No, I think, again, as I've said throughout this show, 2 points can be true.
I think that's the theme of tonight's show. 2 points can be true.
Yes.
And also, success is not linear.
Yes. Because you're not wrong in your view of this. If they do Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns Part 3, I understand it. I fully understand it. I don't agree with them doing it. I don't want Cody Rhodes to walk into WrestleMania as champion. I am sick and tired of it. I don't want him to win Royal Rumble again.
Well, he's not going to win the Rumble. I believe him and Jacob Fatu are going to eliminate each other.
And I think that should be the WrestleMania match, just the two of them.
Which it could be. I do think the winner of the men's Royal Rumble is going to be Braun Breaker. However, this is what I would do. I would not have Braun Breaker declare which champion he's going after. I would have the Elimination Chamber match take place, and whether you want him to return at the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber, I think Seth Rollins should win the Elimination Chamber. He declares that he is going to face CM Punk because they still have beef. Braun Breaker said, no, you're not going to face CM Punk. I'm the Royal Rumble winner. I'm facing CM Punk. The main event of night one is a triple threat match. Last year we had Punk, Reigns, and Rollins. This year we have Punk, Breaker, and Rollins.
See, I'd be all right with them doing CM Pinky versus Seth
Pinky.
Rollins. Or do you want me to call him Pepsi Phil?
I mean, that's better than Pinky.
Okay, fair enough. I'd be all right with that. Although I hated the main event a couple weeks ago. I thought it was an overbooked mess. But nonetheless, I do think Braun Breaker is going to win the men's Royal Rumble. I know Bianca Belair is the favorite for the women's.
She is the favorite. I thought Liv Morgan was the favorite. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, it's interesting you bring up Liv Morgan because she is my pick to win the women's Royal Rumble. And I think she's going to go after Stephanie.
Okay, so we are on opposite sides here again because I don't think Stephanie Valkyrie is walking into WrestleMania as champion at all. And I think Bianca Belair is winning the Royal Rumble. She is going to challenge Jade Cargill for the Women's Championship.
Okay.
On the Women's World Championship side, I think right after the Elimination Chamber, because I think inside the Elimination Chamber, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are going to defend the Women's Tag Team Championships in the chamber. So there will not be a number one contender for the World Championship Women's Chamber this year. The Women's Elimination Chamber match this year will be the Women's Tag Team Championship match. I think Rhea and Io lose the belts. I think before WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley will win the Women's World Championship from Stephanie Valkyrie, and she will face Io Sky for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania as Rhea tries to get her one-on-one victory over Io that she has not gotten yet.
Which would kind of be the story they had going into last year's WrestleMania. That was a triple threat match. Oh, right. It was
involving Bianca Belair. Io won the title from Rhea before Mania.
That's correct. By the way, outside of Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton, that was the match I was most excited for going into WrestleMania.
I think there's a world where Sami Zayn turns heel and you have Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. Maybe Kevin Owens is the special guest referee.
Oh my God, I want Kevin Owens back so bad. WWE has not been the same this year without him. He is one of the modern GOATs in WWE. He really is.
I agree with you. And unfortunately, as sad as it is, because I do too, love AJ Styles. I remember seeing him way back. I first watched him in TNA when I was an avid TNA watcher in the 2009, 2010, 2011 Aces and Eights, Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, Sting, Beer Money, those days of TNA. I think that this is the way AJ's wanted to go out. We saw Shinsuke Nakamura delete that Instagram story post where he said that AJ Styles told him about a year in advance that he wanted to retire at the Royal Rumble 2026. I don't think he wanted a retirement tour like the one they gave John Cena. He's been quietly having some matches against friends of his, CM Punk last night on Raw, Shinsuke Nakamura at Saturday night's main event. I do think there is a world, maybe you get a DQ finish, maybe you extend this to WrestleMania. It does feel a little bit out of left field, but unfortunately, I do think the ring general puts AJ Styles to sleep. And my guess is, in the Royal Rumble, Gunther still competes. He is eliminated by the Beast Incarnate himself. And that's how we get to Gunther versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Personally, I don't want that match. I understand if they go in that direction. I like that Gunther has kind of become what Randy Orton was. Remember, Randy Orton was the legend killer for a
And now
while.
Gunther is the career killer. And that feud down the line is going to be a very good feud when they run it at some point.
I will be sitting on the edge of my seat during that feud. I can assure you that. But like I said, it does feel like Gunther has kind of taken on that persona from Randy Orton. Which, hot take, I have Randy Orton as the GOAT, not John Cena. But nonetheless,
and I mean, there is a word out there where what if Cody wins the title back and Orton turns heel and you have Cody versus Orton? That's what I'm telling you. This is why I'm excited about the Rumble. We can say all we want. I don't know what direction they're going. I think Seth Rollins is coming back. I don't know that for sure. I think Cody might get the title back. I don't know. There's a world where Sami Zayn could theoretically be the world champion by the end of the Rumble. I know you say there's no shot. I think there's a shot.
You're making valid points, but for me, watching WWE recently, it just feels like they're not putting the time and effort into the Royal Rumble like they have in the past.
Well, I think it's overshadowed because last year's was so hyped that nothing was going to top it.
And I do agree with you there, but it just feels like I've been watching. I have. And I've been trying to give WWE a fair chance. I really have. I'm not trying to intentionally be a contrarian and say it's all bad and all that. I really am trying to give it a fair chance. And from my perspective, it just doesn't feel like they know.
Look at the names, though, Josh, are going to be in this Rumble. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, Gunther, Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi. I think I mentioned Braun Breaker already. LA Knight, I think is going to return. I think this is where you get the return of Y2J Chris Jericho. My prediction is actually that Jericho will eliminate LA Knight. Those two will have a feud going into WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of star power that maybe they haven't announced, but you look at these names: Jey Uso, Seth Rollins. It could be just as star-studded as last year's. Maybe they haven't done the best job of promoting it like they did last year because it was all based off John Cena. But this is a star-studded field.
I'm not saying it's not. It just doesn't feel like they've been shouting at the rooftops, "Hey, the Royal Rumble is happening on Saturday."
Well, I think part of it is because you had Saturday night's main event, you had the Rumble, and there was sort of this weird spot because Drew winning the championship did change everything. And that was my point. That's why I loved it so much that Drew won the title. Because
I agree.
Because if Cody stayed champion, there's no hype around this show. Cody's going into WrestleMania as champion. Maybe they even would have ran Cody versus Randy at the Rumble, but no one would have cared because we knew Cody would have won. Drew winning the championship, not only does it offset everything on SmackDown, now we're questioning, could CM Punk lose the world title? I'm going to tell you something. There was a thought in my head last night during the main event of Raw where I'm like, does AJ win the title and then Gunther beats him on Saturday and you just have Gunther going to WrestleMania as champion? That thought popped in my head.
No, that's fair. I had a feeling it was going to end in shenanigans. I did not trust Finn Balor at all. I think they are going to run that match at Elimination Chamber, especially because it is in Chicago.
By the way, what do you do with Finn? Because I think you turn Dom and Liv and you keep Finn the heel, but I think they may go the opposite direction.
It feels like they are. By the way, I do, as much as I like that they're doing the street fight next week, I wish that match was on the happening this weekend. I get it.
Here's the thing. The two Rumble matches are going to take 2 hours. AJ and Gunther is probably 30 minutes. The undisputed champion just probably 30. I mean, with all their timing and everything, it's going to be a 4-hour show with 4 matches.
I understand that, but I'm actually invested in Raquel versus Stephanie right now.
I'm not. Stephanie doesn't do anything for me. I think her promos since she became champion have gotten worse. Part of it is because they don't have a lot of heels on Raw, which I get it. And I think Naomi losing the championship completely destroyed the Women's World Championship because they had no plans beyond that.
Right. By the way, the tag team title scene on Raw is pathetic. Like, oh, the Creeds are in the match for the number one contender. I think they fell into a phantom zone.
Yeah, again, the Usos are tag team champions, and they don't know what to do with them because the world title picture is so crowded at the top. I don't know. I just think that there's so much that we don't know yet that's going to be answered coming out of the Royal Rumble. The WrestleMania picture will be more clear once we come out of the Rumble, but I don't think it's going to be all settled yet.
The frustrating part is usually going into the Rumble, we have an idea of what some of the WrestleMania matches could be. Like, you start seeing some of the feuds developing. I don't see that yet. And I think that's part of my issue also. But
let me ask you this. Is that a product of WrestleMania being later in the calendar in April, not being the first in April? It's like April 18th.
I think WrestleMania 40, I want to say it was the same night as the men's Final Four.
Yeah, it was. But WrestleMania 41 was pushed back 2 weeks. So was 42. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think because WrestleMania is being pushed back, you have more time where the Rumble doesn't need to start. You can start building at the Rumble, but you have way more time now than you usually do between the Chamber and Mania.
By the way, you brought up AJ Styles and this possibly being his final match. Two of my favorite WrestleMania feuds AJ had. The one against Chris Jericho going into, I think it was Mania 32, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
What my favorite promo during that feud? Y2 Jackass. It was that promo had me laughing. But my other feud that I absolutely loved, it was my favorite feud going into WrestleMania 40. AJ Styles, LA Knight. It was so good.
The ironic thing is, I think AJ Styles' best WrestleMania feud was Shane McMahon.
Oh, going into WrestleMania 30.
Going into WrestleMania 33.
33, yes.
And they opened the show, and that might have been the best match on that card.
Yeah, but for me, there was just something about the chemistry AJ Styles had with LA Knight going into Mania 40. I was so invested in that feud. And going, like, same thing with him and Jericho. Like I said, that promo alone sealed it for me when he just goes, Y2 Jackass. And
well,
there was just something about those two together. I'm like, this is just great. This is amazing.
While we're talking about AJ Styles and WrestleMania matches, watching Saturday night's main event made me think of what would have happened if Triple H was in charge when Shinsuke Nakamura was at his peak. Because that AJ Shinsuke Nakamura match we watched on Saturday, and I know you didn't see it, that should have been what their WrestleMania 34 match was, whatever the hell Vince booked.
Oh, yeah, and that whole heel turn was terrible.
And I said, as a casual wrestling fan, I know this is going to annoy a lot of you, and you guys are going to call me an idiot, and I don't care because to me, it's the truth. The most I enjoyed Shinsuke Nakamura's WWE run was when he was rocking out with Rick Boogs and Pat McAfee.
Oh,
that's when he was most over. I'm just going to be honest with you with the WWE audience until this recent match with AJ Styles.
Yeah, his United States Championship reign, he did nothing. He just won it from
either or. Remember, he had the U.S. title in 2018 too.
Yep. Well, I honestly forgot until you just said that.
That's my point. So, it's going to be a very interesting weekend, but